Dave in the Redneck Garage. I'm out here with Baby Yoda. I did get some parts in today, which I am excited about because I am desperately trying to get this thing running, and it has not been an easy chore to catch back up after working on it for probably 4 years and having it sit and then being motivated to get it going again. But I got this part in from Matt McCullough from Aurora, Colorado. Let's take a look at what it is. I will say this, I was pretty lucky that I found most of the parts for the truck because it was in pieces strewn about the house, and then I moved it down here, and getting all the parts together again was a challenge. If I get a little bored, I can have a little reading material or go to the bathroom. Yes! This is nice. The cold start injector fuel line right here, and for the life of me, I could not find mine anywhere. And I also got banjo nuts from him, but this right here is the main reason that I couldn't get my fuel line connected. So I'm thrilled to have this one part that you can't get from Toyota, that you can't go buy at a junkyard. You know, they're just hard to find. So got it in, awesome, super cool. I'm going to be installing that. What else we got going on? I've ordered some Blendair door foam. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I could put these back on the way they are, and they would semi-work. But if you look inside there, had to get a little bit more light. If you look inside there, you can see that this is the door, and these are diversions of heating and cooling when you turn your control levers. You hear that noise? That's because all the foam over the years for these Toyotas disintegrates into nothingness. I mean, you can see that there's nothing there. So I've got some Blendair door foam that goes on here. It comes with adhesive, and it goes on, so when you close, it actually will seal it up a little bit better. Especially like during the summer, this air conditioning is not like to light the house on fire. So if you're getting hot air coming through the heater core and you don't have any insulation on your Blendair door, it's going to tend to not cool as well. So I made the decision to go ahead and get some foam, and I'll be doing that here in just a little bit. Put some Blendair door foam back on it, and then you won't hear any of that. It'll just be a nice little foam close. So that's awesome. So I can't do anything with the heating in there, but I can get, let's see, valve cover back on, the intake button back up. I've got new silicone vacuum lines that are supposed to be in today or tomorrow. So hopefully, fingers crossed, within this video you will see the little Yoda baby fire up for the first time with a new head gasket, and that's my hope with this anyway. So I am a little bit excited, to tell you the truth, that I'll be able to move it in and out to do painting and whatever else I need to do. But having it run is like a major thing for me. So let's get going. The bed isn't bolted down to the frame because I wanted to be able to paint the cab in between, but I don't want to halfway do it. So I've got some jacks coming in, and they're made for a camper. And I'm going to try to jury rig like 2 2x4s where I can raise it up and pull the truck out a little bit to paint and then move it back in, or just paint the bed before I bolt it back on. We'll see if that works or not. They should be in a couple days. So moving along fairly quickly. Lord have mercy, it's hot in here. It's about 70 degrees. It's about 52 degrees outside. So the heater worked great. Very happy with it. And as far as like the bed, I can pick it up by myself. So next step is to kind of look at what kind of wood do I need underneath and get the jacks underneath it to be able to paint the cab. I'm waiting for parts to dry as far as like the engine goes. I got a bunch of vacuum lines to hook up and parts to put on, so yeah, it's looking good. Here's the cold start injector right here, cold start injector here, This is for the VSV valve for the air conditioning. Yeah, so get all the vacuum lines hooked up, and tomorrow or the next day, maybe the weekend, I got the cap put on, new rotor. This weekend, this baby's going to be running. It's interesting, all the heater box and everything is like a gray color, like the dashboard. It's not black like you would think it would be. So I'm waiting for this to dry, and then I'll start putting it back together. Look at this. Holy moly. So hopefully the new stuff is not going to do that. But I mean, this is basically just falling apart. So, gross. Lord have mercy. You would think that I would have all these vacuum lines hooked up and ready to start this thing. However, that is not the case. There are so many vacuum lines, and do I need to keep one, or where does it go, and what needs to get capped off? So I'm still continuing working on those, and I'll show you here in a minute of where I'm at with it. The silicone lines are really super nice compared to the old dry rotted out rubber ones that are on it, but because everything was removed, going back to that, it's a huge pain in the butt to try to figure out where all these vacuum lines went and which ones do I need to keep and which ones do I just throw in the garbage. Man, it's getting close. Looks really good. These silicone lines are good. I've got these two VSV valves, whatever they are. I got to figure out which one goes where, if I'm going to use them or not. This valve goes back here. I got to figure out the fuel regulator. I believe this one goes to the bottom of the fuel regulator here. But anyway, looking good. I bought two different kinds of paints from Colorbond. You can kind of see this one's dark Chrysler slate gray, and this is dark mist gray. I thought this one was the perfect match for it, and then I got the other one by accident, and then I looked at it and it seems to be maybe closer. So I'm going to let this dry completely and then kind of hold it up and see which one's closest and which one I like better, really, because everything is going to be painted. Well, I worked on Baby Yoda last night for quite a while. It was actually super fun. Loved it. It was terrible. All these vacuum lines, hoses, VSV valves, BSV valves, LLM, NOPQR, VSV valves. They suck. But I've got everything hooked up pretty much. The VSV valves I'm going to have to look at to see if I really need them. On the fuel pressure regulator, everything that I've read is as long as you have a vacuum line going to it, you really don't need a valve hooked up to it. So that may be good. So that's probably good. The idle up valve, I doubt if it's going to work right now, but I'll look at that later. I've got it to the point where it's ready to start. There's no big vacuum leaks. However, the problem that I have now is the heater core is out. So I can't put the radiator in and fill it up. So I bought a bypass. There it is. Bypass connector to bypass the heater core. I'll be able to put the radiator. There it goes. I had it somewhere. I had it at one time. I'll be able to bypass the heater core, put in the radiator, get it ready to fire up and not overheat it, because this is a brand new head. I really don't want to start it with no coolant in it. You know, it may not do any damage, but if it did, then I'd be really pissed. So I'm going to go ahead and get the radiator hooked up, bypass the coolant hoses, finish up connecting all the electrical connectors, get the spark plug wires on it, and I think see if I can get all the grounds and the hots connected and see if it'll crank over. So that's kind of where I'm at. I will revisit you in a minute once I get some of these stupid things hooked up. Awesome. So I'm excited. I got the hoses on, top and bottom. This bottom one sucks. I had to put a universal hose on it, so I'll get a new one for that. Gonna get oil inner, antifreeze. I got to put the spark plug wires on, double check all the wiring, and should be ready to try to crank over. The gas in it's 4 years old, so man, this is a crapshoot. However, I'm getting close. It's been a minute getting to this point. Let me tighten this down. Man, I got oil, got antifreeze, spark plug wires are attached. I think we're ready to try it. What do you think? Let me move some of this crap off of it, because if it starts, which of course it will. Oh, I hear the fuel pump. Oh, we got pressure. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let me see what my... All right. So far so good. I'm going to have to do a little diagnosing, see if I'm getting fuel at the spark plug, see if I'm getting spark. I do have fuel pressure. Now whether it's water or fuel, I don't know. But let me do a little checking and then we'll try it again. Alright, I'm starting the troubleshooting procedures for the 22RE from the factory service manual. I'll show you a picture over here in just a second. It says to check to see if you have sparkage on the ignition. So I've got a ground here, and let me verify it's a good ground. It is a good ground. And let's crank her over. No spark. So we're going to make sure that the connection is good on the coil. I'm sure it is. Double check one more time just to verify. Okay, so no spark, and it's definitely not the lead. So next step. All right, I guess what I would say is so far so good. I've got fuel pressure, I don't have any spark, I don't have a ground at the coil, so it's going to take some ciphering, some reading, some troubleshooting to figure out where my issue is. And since it sat so long, did something get wet? Is there an issue with the ground wire? I don't know. So I'm going to go home, read a bunch, and then start formulating where I want to do my testing. I'm not getting any ground that I can find going to the coil. I need to look at some wiring diagrams. However, everything's in. It's got a radiator and a fan and an alternator, so I'm ahead of the curve. Hopefully this week I'll figure out exactly what's wrong with it and this thing will be running. But as for tonight, I've got to go to a birthday party for my niece. The Titans lost, the Vols lost. It's just been a rough weekend all the way around. Keep watching. Next thing we're going to do is start this thing up once I figure out what in the heck is wrong with the little Yoda. Appreciate you watching. Any questions, comments, post them below. Lord have mercy. I'm so close yet so far. I'm David from the Redneck Garage. Keep turning wrenches.